Latest in Prince Harry's developing meltdown.
There's a history of Harry not being able to cope with life.
Harry is a damaged person, and damaged people cause damage.
That hapless husband of hers, old Ginger Nuts, what's his name? Oh, that's right, Harry. The man without a plan, the runaway royal lost in America with no direction home.
Prince Harry's crisis, meltdown, breakdown, however you want to call it.
Meghan ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner.
I wish I had been involved in the Meghan and Harry leave Spotify negotiation. The grifters.
Is it the only thing that I've been asking for throughout this whole process? It's safety.
You know that gut feeling when something's seriously wrong? When you can't explain it, but every instinct screams that disaster's coming? That's exactly what royal watchers felt seeing Prince Harry in London last week. No smile, no spark, just hollow eyes and robotic movements. This wasn't the rebellious prince we knew. This was a man completely lost. And trust me, that photo everyone's whispering about, the one outside that Mayfair club where he looked like he was searching for something he shouldn't be, that's just the beginning of a story so dark, even his closest allies are terrified to speak up.
He's called Meghan Markle nasty and says he feels sorry for Prince Harry because his wife is a lot to deal with.
But what I think is that Harry is speaking his truth, which is that he's a very dejected and traumatized human being, and Meghan is projecting her truth.
She knows Harry is falling apart. She knows this has all gone so badly wrong.
Is also said to be far from happy with the poor press he's been getting too.
Guy is not in a good place. I mean, we've known he's not in a good place for a long time.
How are Prince William and his wife Kate Middleton responding?
They're done. They're done. William doesn't even want to hear Harry's name.
But before we dive into this royal nightmare, if you're here for the real truth about what's happening behind palace walls, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because what you're about to hear isn't in the mainstream headlines, and trust me, you'll want to catch every shocking update as this story unfolds. The whispers started immediately. Those who've worked with Harry for years recognize the signs, the fidgeting, the constant glancing around, the way he avoided eye contact with everyone. One anonymous guest claimed he looked like someone trying to escape his own skin. Sources close to the palace noticed more than tired eyes. They saw someone thin, frazzled, disturbingly detached. As one insider allegedly put it, it's like he didn't know where he was going or why. This goes way deeper than an awkward public moment. Behind those palace gates, there's a conversation happening that nobody wants to have out loud. Multiple insiders fear Harry's slipping back into that dark place he wrote about in Spare. The drinking, the substances, the desperate need to numb pain when life spirals out of control. We've seen this pattern before. One royal aide reportedly told British media, he vanishes, shows up in London alone, looks like he hasn't slept in days. Harry himself admitted using substances not for fun, but survival. To escape, to feel something, to stop the panic attacks. He called it his coping mechanism when grief and pressure became unbearable. And now, years later, those same signs are back, but worse. Career falling apart, lawsuits piling up, tension with Meghan, completely cut off from the royals. When you combine all that emotional baggage with the pressure cooker he's living in, it's not hard to see why people are quietly preparing for the worst.
Prince Harry has lost a Court of Appeal case over security arrangements in the United Kingdom.
The man without a plan, the runaway royal lost in America with no direction home, reduced to merely watching while his fame-hungry wife makes a mockery of his genuine fears over the dangers of online harm.
Hi, I'm Meghan Markle.
And I'm Harry.
And we're royally screwed.
Once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
Harry has been desperately trying to connect with his father and brother through old friends and retired courtiers. Neither have taken the bait.
That's fine, I'll go it alone, just like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
What's different this time? The silence. When these rumors swirled before, Harry was quick to respond. A carefully worded statement, a podcast appearance, something to show he's fine. But this time, nothing. No photos with Meghan, no updates from their team, no PR stunts, just complete radio silence. And for insiders, that silence is screaming louder than any headline. But while Harry's allegedly falling apart in London, Meghan's response will leave you speechless. Instead of support or concern, what the world got was a bubbly video of Meghan gushing about flower sprinkles and thanking fans for buying out her latest as-ever launch. Here's her husband looking visibly unwell, spiraling according to multiple sources, and she's performing soft focus influencer content, selling products that may or may not actually exist. Even their biggest supporters seemed confused. The disconnect felt surreal, almost cruel. Sources say Meghan's inner circle is panicking because this isn't just bad timing, it looks calculated. While she's built this image of love, support, and fighting for mental health together, she's now watching her husband fall apart from a distance while hawking honey and posting about sleepless nights, but not the kind where you're worried about your partner. One Hollywood PR expert allegedly said it bluntly: either she doesn't know what's happening with Harry, or she's deliberately distancing herself. Both options are terrible. This choice to stay silent while pushing products says everything. It says this isn't my problem. It says we're not the united front you thought we were, and it's left even their allies stunned. The marketing itself is failing spectacularly. That whole sold out in seconds claim? Fans caught the timestamps. Journalists verified products were listed as unavailable before anyone could even click buy. One marketing expert called it one of the clumsiest fake scarcity plays ever seen. But it's not just about failed business tactics, it's about what this reveals. While Meghan posts fake sellouts with sprinkled emojis, Harry's being photographed looking completely broken. They're living in two different realities, and sources say this isn't coincidence, it's intentional distance. But the silence that's really shocking everyone involves Tyler Perry, the man who gave them everything when they needed it most. Privacy, protection, his Beverly Hills mansion, even became godfather to their daughter. Now he's facing a $260 million lawsuit over serious allegations filed just last week on June 13th. And from Harry and Meghan, absolute silence. This isn't some distant acquaintance. Perry didn't just help them, he put his reputation on the line defending their story. Featured prominently in their Netflix series with that haunting line, "If you knew what I knew," he was fiercely protective, their shield against the world. Sources say Perry's deeply hurt, blindsided by their silence. After everything he did defending them publicly, risking his own reputation, and now when he needs support, even just privately, they've vanished. One royal analyst reportedly said Tyler Perry made himself a shield for Harry and Meghan, and now that he's under fire, they've dropped the shield and disappeared. The implications are huge. Perry gave them that freedom flight from the royals, that mansion where they hid, the connections that launched their Hollywood life. If his reputation crumbles, what happens to their origin story? What happens to Harry when another pillar in his life collapses? Sources say Harry's been unusually withdrawn since the lawsuit news broke, not just distant from Meghan, but from everyone. He's allegedly shaken not just by the lawsuit, but what it means. Because if Tyler goes down, their whole post-royal narrative looks tainted. Every cozy photo, every private jet ride, every carefully curated documentary moment came through Perry, and now Harry's realizing how fragile it all was. Meanwhile, the institution that once gave Harry his identity has shut him out completely. The fractures that started as cracks are now massive canyons. While the public hoped for reconciliation, palace sources say the mood's never been colder. No olive branches, no back-channel meetings, just pure frozen distance. And for Harry, who once said silence is betrayal, that silence from his family is all he's getting now. The damage goes beyond just William's legendary fury. Even King Charles, who promised to keep the door open, has reportedly bolted it shut. The reason? Trust? Or the complete collapse of it? After the Netflix series, the Oprah interview, Spare, and endless leaks, the royals believe nothing said privately stays private anymore. So conversations stopped completely. Palace aides allegedly advised senior royals to only communicate with Harry through formal channels, meaning lawyers. Not because they're cruel, but because they're protecting the institution. For Harry, this isn't just losing a father and brother. It's realizing he traded one broken system for another and now stands in no man's land between them. Sources say he still reaches out, testing the waters with messages and gestures, but increasingly there's no reply, or worse, the reply comes through legal representatives. In the royal machine, he had a role, a title, a defined place. Now, no palace, no military honors, no country that fully claims him. With bridges to both Buckingham and Hollywood burning behind him, even critics wonder where does he go next? Which brings us to the money. For someone who declared independence so loudly, insisted on carving his own path, it's ironic how often Harry's finances allegedly lead back to daddy. Officially, the royal purse strings were cut in 2021. That's what they told Oprah, sparking outrage about being left to fend for themselves. But palace sources always contested that story, insisting financial support continued much longer than admitted. Even now, whispers suggest Charles still offers personal funds to keep Harry afloat, especially when projects fail or legal costs explode. Why would he do it? One insider allegedly explained because he's still a father. Despite the anger, embarrassment, and distance, Charles can't stomach watching Harry fail publicly. And to Charles, spiraling means failing. But there's a catch. If Charles is still funding parts of Harry's life, that explains the strange tension behind the scenes. Harry's team reportedly wants full control over his image and decisions. But royal money means royal conditions. That's allegedly driving Harry deeper into isolation, caught between two identities, the rebel prince who escaped and the man who might still need rescue. Multiple sources claim Meghan's pushing Harry to cut those final financial ties to prove he's truly free. But if the rumors are true, that pressure might be pushing him toward complete collapse. Because cutting off the crown means cutting off his safety net. And right now, that net might be all that's preventing total disaster. The man who became mental health's unofficial spokesperson, who cried on camera about healing and therapy, may now be hiding the version of himself he can't bear anyone to see. Behind the scenes, Harry's support system is reportedly crumbling, friends quietly backing away, professional relationships strained, and Meghan, who positioned herself as his emotional anchor, seems more focused on flower sprinkles than her husband's visible breakdown. Sources say Harry's therapy journey, once his constant talking point, is barely mentioned now. Some former advisors allegedly stepped back entirely, citing unresolved patterns and conflicting priorities. Translation? They tried helping, but he stopped listening. It's cruel irony. The man who risked ridicule to discuss trauma, panic attacks, and healing now looks more lost than ever. Even the imagery feels symbolic. The prince who stood beside Oprah offering comfort to others is now the one people whisper about with concern. Was the healing ever real or just performance? Because Harry knows how to play wellness. He's memorized the scripts, the buzzwords about inner work and emotional intelligence. But living it? That's different. And if whispers are true, the Harry we're seeing isn't healed. He's hollow, disconnected, desperately numb. While Harry drifts deeper into crisis, Meghan's dealing with her own disaster, one that smells less like organic apricots and more like desperation. The As Ever second drop was supposed to mark her comeback, proof she could succeed solo. Instead, it became a public joke. Products listed as sold out before anyone could buy them. Social media caught the scam in real time. Journalists documented items showing unavailable within seconds of going live. A marketing expert allegedly called it embarrassingly obvious fake scarcity. While Meghan posted thank yous with emoji hearts, her body language revealed the truth. Stiff, eyes darting, avoiding the camera like it might expose her. Even supporters couldn't ignore how fake it all seemed. Was she nervous, embarrassed, distracted by her husband's public meltdown? Insiders say all three. Because Meghan might be As Ever's face, but there's no substance behind the Instagram filters. No real hustle, no authentic connection, just recycled slogans and empty posts. She's selling lifestyle without actually living one. And the damage goes beyond just brand failure. While Meghan fakes sellouts, Harry's photographed looking broken. The contrast is jarring, almost cruel, like they're existing in parallel universes. Some sources think this isn't bad timing but intentional distance, a way for Meghan to protect her image while Harry's burns. Because if she can separate her brand from his breakdown, maybe she survives this. Maybe As Ever becomes her life raft while Harry sinks. But even that strategy's failing because nobody's buying the act anymore. Not the products, not the persona, not the pretense that everything's fine while her husband publicly falls apart. Enter Princess Eugenie, the royal wild card whose recent moves have everyone talking. Days after Harry's troubling appearance and during Meghan's chaotic launch, Eugenie was photographed looking very cozy with Misha Nonu at Royal Ascot. For those unaware, Nonu isn't just anyone, she's Meghan's best friend, credited with introducing the Sussexes. To outsiders, just a photo. To those who understand the fractured dynamics, it's a warning shot. One royal insider allegedly said you don't casually pose with Meghan's inner circle right now unless you're choosing sides or playing both. Eugenie's long been the only royal maintaining relationships with both camps. She visited California, dined with the Sussexes post-exit, stayed friendly when others cut ties. But palace staffers always worried about her. One source claimed Eugenie's loyalty is fluid. that she smiles for both cameras and whispers in both ears. So what's her game? Is she Meghan's palace informant, Harry's last royal lifeline, or just protecting her own position by playing diplomat? Some think Eugenie might be Harry's final bridge to the family, the only one not completely burned. Others warn she's watching which way the wind blows, ready to align with whoever wins this war. Whatever her motives, that public link to Meghan's bestie during this crisis sends a message. In a battle where even family can't be trusted, Eugenie's positioning herself perfectly in the middle, the safest spot when two empires are crumbling. Behind closed doors, the conversation has shifted from gossip to genuine fear. This isn't about bad PR anymore. It's about real concern that Prince Harry might be approaching something irreversible. Those recent London sightings weren't flukes, but flashing red warnings. One source described Harry as disconnected from everything, family, purpose, even himself, walking like he's searching for something he can't name, haunted by a version of himself that's gone forever. Layer that over his history, public admissions of substance use to numb pain, breakdowns after Diana's death, panic attacks, isolation, and the picture becomes terrifying. Insiders fear not just emotional relapse but physical, that Harry might slip back into behaviors he claimed to have conquered. And without Meghan stepping in, without any visible support system, the list of lifelines is shrinking fast. Hollywood's reportedly backing away too. Producers who saw Harry as PR gold now whisper unstable, unreliable liability. Without palace protection or industry trust, where does he turn? Even Charles, still allegedly concerned, has begun accepting some messes can't be cleaned with money or royal intervention. At some point, Harry must face his own wreckage. Some insiders hope this spiral becomes Harry's wake-up call, that he'll seek help, reset, rebuild. Others fear the damage is already too deep, that we're watching the slow-motion collapse of a man who had everything but lost himself in the ruins. One thing's certain, whatever comes next won't be quiet or simple. The prince who walked away from one life may have walked straight into something far worse, and this time, there might be nobody left to catch him when he falls. If this story shocked you, drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think happens next for Harry? Can this marriage survive? Hit that like button if you want more royal truth, subscribe for updates as this story develops, and remember to ring that notification bell so you never miss the latest. The next video is already waiting, and trust me, you won't believe what's coming next.